the Twin of Stardust. At the top of the spiral staircase, Seraphina emerged into a vast, dark chamber. The walls pulsed faintly with a blue glow, as though the room were alive. Floating in the air was a shimmering figure, a perfect replica of herself, made entirely of stardust. The figure's eyes were closed, but it mirrored Seraphina's posture exactly, swaying slightly as though it were breathing. The scarf around Seraphina's neck vibrated, its glow intensifying, as though warning her. Yet she felt drawn to the figure, unable to look away. With every step she took closer, the air around her seemed to hum with energy, like the low notes of a celestial orchestra. Suddenly, the Stardust Twin opened its eyes, revealing orbs that glimmered with galaxies. It spoke in a voice that was not quite hers, yet familiar, as though it came from a forgotten version of herself. "You have come far, but do you know who you are?" Seraphina hesitated. The question echoed through her mind, stirring fragments of memories, playing in her mountain town as a child, the faces of people she couldn't quite place, the weight of the scarf when it was first handed to her. But the memories were fleeting, like sand slipping through her fingers. "You've lost pieces of yourself," the twin continued, stepping closer. "But what you've lost isn't gone. It lingers here, waiting for you to reclaim it." The twin raised a hand, and stardust swirled from its fingertips, forming images in the air. Seraphina saw her younger self, laughing and running through a field of golden flowers. She saw a woman, her face obscured, weaving the scarf by the light of 1,000 stars. And then she saw the fisherman, not as an old man but as a young boy, holding her hand as they looked out over the sea. "The scarf binds your memories, but it also holds your truth," the twin said. "To continue, you must choose, reclaim what you have lost, or let it go forever and become something new." Seraphina's breath caught. The choice was monumental. If she reclaimed her memories, she might lose the ability to wield the scarf's power and continue her journey. But if she let them go, she would forever be a stranger to herself, a vessel of untethered magic, without roots or identity. Before she could answer, the Stardust Twin stepped closer, their faces nearly touching. It reached out and placed a hand over her heart. In that moment, Seraphina felt a rush of warmth and cold, light and shadow. The twin's form began to dissolve, its particles swirling around her like a celestial storm. "Choose, Seraphina," the twin whispered, its voice fading as it merged with her. "But remember, no path is without its cost." As the last of the stardust vanished into her skin, Seraphina fell to her knees. The chamber around her shifted, the walls of the lighthouse transforming into an endless expanse of stars. She looked down at her scarf, now glowing brighter than ever, its patterns shifting as though alive. When she stood, she knew the choice had already been made. What she had chosen and what it would mean for her journey was something she would discover with every step forward. A meeting among the clouds. After the encounter with her stardust twin, Seraphina felt an odd pull, a warmth radiating from the scarf around her neck, guiding her forward. Her surroundings blurred as though reality itself were being rewritten, and when she opened her eyes, she found herself seated in a place unlike any she had ever known. The ground beneath her shimmered like a mirror, reflecting a vast sky dotted with fluffy clouds that floated so close she could almost touch them. In front of her sat a man, dressed in simple yet elegant clothing, his demeanor calm and curious. Between them, a small pink butterfly fluttered lazily, as though it had no fear of gravity in this surreal world. The man smiled, his eyes filled with a mix of warmth and mischief. "You've come a long way to reach this place," he said, his voice carrying a soothing cadence. "But do you know where you are?" Seraphina glanced around, her reflection staring back at her from the mirrored surface beneath. I don't," she admitted. "Everything keeps shifting, and I don't know what's real anymore." He nodded knowingly, as though her answer was expected. "This is the between," he explained, "a realm of pause, where time holds its breath and choices are made without the rush of consequence. Seraphina frowned, confused but intrigued. "Who are you?" The man chuckled softly. "Some call me the keeper of moments, others call me a guide, but today I am simply someone who listens." He gestured to the scarf glowing faintly around her neck. "I sense you carry something extraordinary, something that ties you to every place you've been and every choice you've made." Seraphina looked down at the scarf, its threads shimmering like liquid light. It holds my memories," she said softly. "But it's unraveling, and I don't know how much longer I can keep it." The keeper leaned forward, his gaze kind but piercing. "Do you know why you hold on so tightly to what you've lost?" She hesitated. Because I don't want to forget who I am." "Ah," he said, leaning back in his chair. "But perhaps you've misunderstood. You are not defined by what you remember. You are shaped by how you move forward, by what you choose to become." His words lingered in the air, heavy yet liberating. The butterfly landed on the edge of her hand, its delicate wings glowing faintly. She felt a strange sense of peace in its presence, as though it carried some hidden truth. "Tell me, Seraphina," the keeper continued, "if you had to leave something behind to become whole again, what would it be?" The question struck her like a wave. She thought of her journey so far, of the dreams that had guided her, of the Stardust twin and its warning. She thought of the memories she had already lost, and the ones that still lingered, faint but precious. I don't know," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "What if what I leave behind is the part of me that matters most?" The keeper smiled gently, standing and offering her his hand. "That, my dear, is the beauty of choice. But remember, whatever you leave behind creates space for something new to grow." As she took his hand, the mirrored ground beneath her rippled like water, and the clouds began to part. The butterfly flew up, leaving a trail of glowing particles in its wake. The keeper's voice echoed one last time as the world began to fade. "Trust yourself, Seraphina. The answers are not in the memories, but in the journey." When she opened her eyes again, she was back on solid ground, standing at the edge of a vast meadow under a golden sky. The scarf around her neck felt lighter, and though she couldn't remember what she had left behind, she felt a strange sense of clarity. Ahead of her, a path stretched into the horizon, inviting her to take her next step.